Hello, TMC family and friends. This is Pastor Donovan, and welcome to this week's edition of From the Pastor Study. We join one another on a weekly basis on this platform to be able to answer questions about the Bible, about culture, about the world, about theology. We are working together to build strong biblical Christian worldviews. If you have a question that you would like for me to answer, you can contact me at pastor@missionchurchlex.org. pastor@missionchurchlex.org. Here is our question for today. What does the Bible say about praying for Israel and for Jerusalem? Praying for the peace of Jerusalem, aligning our hearts with God's promise and His purposes. What if one of the simplest prayers you could pray today connects you directly to God's ancient promises, His present work in the world, and His future plan for peace? When Scripture calls to pray for the peace of Jerusalem, it isn't a distant or abstract idea. It's actually an invitation to participate in something far bigger than ourselves. It ties our daily prayers to God's covenant with Israel, His heart for peace amongst all people, and the promised return of Christ, the true Prince of Peace. Praying for the peace of Jerusalem is more than a spiritual tradition. It is an act of obedience that aligns our hearts with God's revealed will and His unfolding plan for the entire world. Scripture consistently shows that God has a unique and enduring covenant with Israel, and our response to that covenant matters in a very clear way. In Genesis 12 verse 3, God declares to Abraham, "I will bless those who bless you, and I will curse those who curse you, and in all the families of the earth shall be blessed." This foundational promise reveals not only God's faithfulness to Israel, but also His intention to use Israel as a channel of blessing for the entire world. Throughout the Old Testament, we see this promise upheld as God protects and preserves and delivers Israel from its enemies time and time again. His covenant remains unbroken, demonstrating that God's promises are steadfast and trustworthy. King David, the great king of Israel, expressed his deep longing for Jerusalem's peace in Psalm 122, verse 6 through 9, urging God's people to pray for the city. May they prosper who love you. Peace be within your walls, prosperity within your palaces. This prayer is not merely about political stability, as important as that is. It's about spiritual wholeness, unity, and God's presence dwelling amongst God's people. Similarly, in Psalm 128 verse 6, that ends with a blessing, "Peace be upon Israel." A reminder that God's peace is both generational and communal. Now, in the New Testament, the call to peace extends to all believers. Jesus teaches in Matthew chapter 5, verse 9, "Blessed are the peacemakers, for they shall be called the sons of God." Paul builds upon that teaching and echoes in Romans 12, verse 18. He urges believers to live peaceably with all people as much as it depends upon them. Praying for Jerusalem then is part of a broader calling to pursue peace in every sphere of life. The very name Jerusalem is often understood as foundation or city of peace. Yet, as we all know historically, this has not shown to be the case. True and lasting peace has remained very elusive for these people in this piece of real estate in the world. This tension points us forward to a future fulfillment of God's promises. Praying for Jerusalem acknowledges God's faithfulness in the past while expressing hope in His ultimate plan in the future. That plan centers on the return of Jesus Christ, as we said, the Prince of Peace. In Zechariah 14 verse 4, it describes the day when Jesus, when He returns the second time, His feet will stand on the Mount of Olives, located in Israel, in Jerusalem. And in Acts 1 verse 11, we are assured that Jesus will return just as He ascended in heaven. From the physical location, the Mount of Olives in Jerusalem, is where He went back to heaven in His ascension, and He will return again at His second coming. True and lasting peace will only be fully realized when Christ establishes His reign, known as the millennial reign of Christ. In light of current events in the Middle East, the call to pray for Jerusalem is as urgent as ever. Our prayers are not rooted in fear or politics, but it's rooted in faith. Faith in a God who keeps His promises and is bringing history towards His perfect conclusion. So here are some application questions for you to consider. How does understanding God's covenant with Israel shape the way you pray for Jerusalem today? In what ways can you actively pursue peace in your own relationships and community? Do your prayers reflect confidence in God's promises, even when world events seem uncertain? And the last reflection and application question I have for you: how does the promise of Christ's return influence your perspective on current conflicts? There is my answer to the question, what does the Bible say about praying for Israel and for Jerusalem? As we said, praying for the peace of Jerusalem aligns our hearts with God's promise and His purposes. There is my answer to this question. If you have further conversation you would like to have, maybe the things you agree with or disagree with, I'd like to hear from you. You can contact me at my email address, pastor@missionchurchlex.org. As we close today, I would like to invite you to come worship with us. We gather together every Sunday morning at 9 o'clock and 11 o'clock. We also have a midweek Bible study on Wednesdays at 6:30, programming available for all ages. There are many other opportunities for discipleship and fellowship and connection all through the week. You can find out about those different opportunities on our website, missionchurchlex.org. Again, you are invited to come worship with us. We are located at 3288 Beaver Creek Drive, right here in Lexington, Kentucky. I am so grateful for each and every one of you. Thank you for watching this installment of From the Pastor's Study this week. I look forward to seeing you next week. And between now and then, always remember to live on mission. God bless you.